All right, this film study video is going to be a little impromptu. It's a look at our Darius Washington film from the Week 2 game against Washington. I think this film's going to paint him in a pretty good light, number one. I think he's a competitor. I think he's a guy who I wasn't extremely high on, but I try not to prejudge players. I just didn't think there was a whole lot of film out there of him. But a couple of other Ravens content creators, specifically EA, really had talked about him, incredibly highly. And it's okay if I'm wrong, and he certainly looked really solid, I thought, in this Week 2 game. I think this play really tells you a lot about him. He's beat. We're not giving him any help at all. It's Mitchell Tinsley, who's an underrated receiver. I think 7th-round pick, maybe UDFA. Darius doesn't give up on the play. I believe that he reaches here right now and touches the football. The end zone angle, which I'm not going to show you, by the way, I think shows that. And it, of course, ends up being ruled incomplete. But I love his competitive nature, not just being tired, because he played a lot of snaps. No help at all in the middle of the field. Really reminds me of the Bears game in 2001. I'll try not to belabor that, but makes one attempt at the ball. Tinsley gets the ball in his hands. I think he touches the ball, taps it out of Tinsley's possession. Now, immediately gets up. He's hurt. And watch this. He's not just content to try to make the tackle. He tries to punch the football out. It doesn't work. He's a competitor. And the Ravens used him in a multitude of ways. I think the film's going to paint him in a really good light. And that's not intentional attempt by me. That's just what I think the film shows. I think I've got 9 plays, and I'll show you that last one that I showed you again at the end. Here he's man on Jahan Dotson in the slot. It's a 1st and 10. I love this play. I do want to mention something about it that's not Darius Washington related. The Ravens doing a couple of new things defensively. One of them that they're doing, and I think these guys are communicating this now, is when the back is to the boundary. It was with certain inside linebackers on the field. If the back released out into the flats, they're not taking an inside linebacker or an edge defender and running him out of there. They're running the safety down to take him. And sometimes the Ravens have another safety that's running to middle of the field. So they're trying to be tricky and disguise stuff, but they're doing this often. But we're focusing this video on Darius Washington. I just thought I'd mention that in this play. Great feet. That's Jahan Dotson. I mean, Jahan Dotson was off to a great start last year before he had some injury trouble. The competitiveness of Darius to get in there and knock the ball away, I think, is notable. A good coverage guy. Small, 5'9", 180, somewhere around in there. I think he was like Big 12 Freshman of the Year defensively in 2018, something like that. So you're talking about a super talented guy at the collegiate level. There's a lot of talent there. With his size, he's got to be in great coverage relationship, and he is for the most part in every one of these plays that I'm showing you. Empty. The Ravens are insistent upon blitzing from the 3 receiver side. Number 3 receiver, number 2, number 1, which is a tight end. We do this a lot. If you recall last year against the Bills and other teams early in the season, we got wrecked by screens to the 3 receiver side out of empty. Now, it's possible that this is a check call where Darius and maybe Trenton Simpson to the boundary are reading something. I'll kind of briefly explain it here in a moment, at least from my familiarity level. Out of empty, what do you know? Well, it's empty. You know it's empty. You know it's going to be a run play unless the quarterback is a run threat or you're getting, some kind of jet sweep action pre-snap. The screen, in effect, acts as a run play. They're going to throw the screen generally to the side the quarterback looks to first. Some people, we've had this in before, if the quarterback opens to this side, will bring this guy on a blitz, buzz one of the matching defender, the number 2 defender at the second level from the sideline. So this is 1, this is 2, and then up to the top side, this is 1, this is 2. So again, what I'm trying to explain is it could be a read, but I don't think it is. Darius blitzing when the quarterback's back is to him, buzz the flats here, and then someone from up in this mess, go to the seam to the side the quarterback opens to. Do it in reverse. Quarterback opens this way. Darius will buzz the flat. Someone else will take the seam, and this guy will blitz. That's a call that we've had in before. I've seen it done multiple times. I don't think that's what it is. I think this is just a blitz because you can see the quarterback's not even open and Darius already on the move attacking. I'm going to show you 2 blitzes in this film cut up. Don't think Trenton Simpson covers it very well. He's one of a number of young guys that's super heavy eyes on the quarterback, even when he's got someone running out into the flats, the area that I think he should be covering. But they used Darius on a blitz off the edge. They used him on a blitz through the B gap one time. This one shows you how confident he is and how aware he is. A couple of things that can be said here. It's going to sound negative at first. He's got a guy running a wheel to him, and I believe he's responsible for that wheel. And his eyes end up on the quarterback. The level of players that most of the level of players that I've coached, that would not be acceptable for me, and I think most people would say that. If you've got one on a post and two on a wheel, we want to cover that wheel. We don't want to leave it open. And Ardarius, however, is so confident and so aware of the game. He's deciding right now whether he's got to turn his hips and go, or if the quarterback releases the football, if he can break on something, which he's got another route here. I think this guy's actually going to sit it down. There's a lot that you can say about that. Some good, some bad. You may have a disagreement with me about it. There are teams that will see stuff like this. And when we get Ardarius Washington on the field at nickel, run a wheel to his side. We may be in a different coverage. It may not impact us. I'm just telling you, these are the small things, in my opinion, that tell you, A, a player is very confident in his abilities. He's very aware. You wouldn't do this if you weren't an aware football player. Be able to keep your eyes on the quarterback and then turn to go to get to a wheel, but the ball's already out, so Ardarius is no longer covering the wheel. He's breaking to go. It's a man and a zone mentality at the same time, if that makes any sense. I do believe he's responsible for the wheel. I do believe that the Ravens are happy that they've got a guy who's aware here. You see a safety, run into the middle of the field. I don't believe that anyone's going to be able to defend this wheel if the quarterback was to pump fake and then throw up top to the wheel. There are situations where you'll see this happen in week 2, and a team in week 3 runs the exact same play and takes advantage of it. Think of the way that Chuck Clark jumped a screen against the Chargers in week 6 at home in 2021, made a great play on a third down. The very next week, the Bengals ran the same exact formation, same exact play. Joe Burrow pump fake to the flare. Chuck Clark jumped it, and he threw the seam, and the tight end, who's no longer with the Bengals, ended up with a touchdown. I'm not sure if I can't even remember his name. Hopefully you guys can. My point is the turnover, the ability to quickly make adjustments in the NFL is fast, and little things like that I think can be the difference between giving up a big play and not. But super aware player, and I'm giving him credit for his ability to do that. All right, Blitz through the B gap here. He is agile and he is hostile. When he gets somewhere, he wants to make a play. He doesn't finish the play. We were all pissed off watching this that we can't get the sack with Ardarius, and then we can't get the sack with Tavius Robinson. He's a 180-pound dude in here, and only a great effort by the running back kept him from getting the sack. Great play by Howell. I think this is late second quarter. And Eric Bieniemy even gave credit to the running backs, for Washington, for pass proing well. And here Ardarius is taking on one of the said running backs. Super agile, if you ask me. I mean, he's in midair and is able to stop with one foot and redirect. He did have to put his hands on the ground, which is the reason why he wasn't able to get the sack, because he had to get control of his body. But I think it illustrates, A, the role that he's in. You see he's used as a blitzer twice already, just in the first half. And B, how athletic he is. Good cover here, I think, on the slot. Less than a minute left in the half. Let it run a couple of times. I think matching him up with players like this guy here, I don't even know who this player is, to be honest with you, size-wise is a good idea. I wonder if he is on the team, because the Ravens DB situation is obviously very unusual. We do have Rock Ya-Sin back, and Darby, who we just signed, is a guy who can play outside corner as well. We're trying to account for the loss of Marlon Humphrey for a month, 6 weeks, something. I wonder about if Ardarius is on the roster and active. Is he going to be on the field if there's no slot receiver on the field like this guy? Meaning, if the third wide receiver is 6'3", 215, like a Devontae Parker from the Patriots, are we not going to have him on the field? Is it matchup based, in terms of whether he's A, active, or B, whether he's on the field in some of these situations that are pass situations? I think he's a good cover guy. I think he's very smart, super aware, like I tried to explain a little bit ago, but he doesn't win every single rep. Kind of gets lost here. This is the touchdown up at the top to De'Ami Brown against Kayubulu Kelly. Everybody's talked about it a lot. The ball's already out, and Brown isn't even open. But you'll see near the top of the route, this receiver kind of, he's got a two-way go. So is he gonna bring this back to the inside? Is he gonna bring it to the outside? Ardarius goes for the slightest move there, the first move by 16 to the outside, which every receiver is taught to do. This guy just did a nice job of selling it, and you can see the separation is there. There is a free safety there to help him out, 45. Last play in coverage, third down. Ardarius against the same guy, matched up. It's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. Runs all the way across the field on this under route, drag route, whatever. Make the tackle short of the first down. I really like him. I'm okay. I'm comfortable saying that this is a guy who I may have been wrong about in terms of I didn't think he could play in the regular season at all. And here now in his 3rd year, pretty good coverage against Washington in the first half, and Washington gave you a good look, which is why it's great that the Ravens played Ardarius so many snaps and other guys in the first half to give him opportunities. This isn't in the first half film, by the way, to give him opportunities against high-level receiver talent. The Ravens have no doubt seen him play against our own receivers, so they got a pretty good idea of what he's capable of. Let me know what you guys think. I did not think he was the weak link out there in pass coverage. I think he's active and versatile, a guy that is labeled a safety, I guess. But to me, really, you can use him anywhere. He can play slot corner. He can play safety up high. I would view him a little bit like a Pepe Williams, a guy who occasionally could slide outside and play outside corner depending on the matchup. We're in a man-free situation and we're declaring it, meaning we're showing the quarterback we're playing man-free pre-snap. Ardarius Washington is a guy that could walk out there on a small slot and play outside corner depending on where his man, quote-unquote, is lined up pre-snap. Guys, let me know what you think of Ardarius Washington in the comment section. I think he's a pretty good player, super competitor, high motor, a guy who I could see making tackles up near the line of scrimmage because of his recognition, because of his awareness, and his burst, because he's got a great burst. And you let me know what you think of the way I broke down some of the plays, the way I talked about some things he can do, and admitting up front that other guys, specifically EA, were higher on him sooner than I was and might have been right where I was wrong. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this content, please consider grabbing a link to it, sharing it on social media to help this content get more reach.